I like the word riot, and I never thought about it much until I came out and started thinking about pride and how that started as a riot, and how just being yourself in America is an act of civil disobedience. Just being yourself is like a personal riot that you can live every day, and it's like the absolute shit. And I see now in the world, especially after this election and everything, a lot of people who have been silent not being silent, and I think that's awesome. But one of the DPS alums here that I respect very much, Letitia Lachey, wrote a poem here once that really, really touched me. And this poem was essentially, hey, it's fucking great that you're on board now, but where were you? Where were you when it was just black women? Why are you only here when the tragedy is your tragedy? And I think it's awesome that more and more people are recognizing what's going on and speaking up, but I think we need to acknowledge that a lot of us, me included, should have been up here a lot sooner. And so this next poem I wrote, it was inspired by that poem Letitia wrote, and it's a little bit of a long one. I've actually read this once with you guys before when we were at Kettering's Pride over the summer, if you were there for that. And this poem is called Wide Fucking Awake. I don't feel safe. Not anymore. Every day, another chattering puppet filling the airwaves with lies, sucking up the bandwidth with hate. Every day, another trained monkey slapping the button for his banana, his black car, his black room cigar, saturated celebration, stuffing his face with my freedom. Every day that I hear someone preaching hate or teaching fear leeches a little more strength from my bones until rising from bed seems a superhuman act of courage and strength. I could barely resist gravity each morning, let alone the swelling tide of intolerance I see coming for me. And it didn't used to be this way. Or did it? Hate, fear, intolerance, injustice, these things aren't new. The crimes that we scroll past on our way to the next viral kitten flick they're not headlines, they're footnotes. They're citations to centuries-deep evils. These black-hearted mercenaries that turned my sweet American dream to sweat-soaked nightmare weren't minted yesterday. This is no freshly hatched army of bigots swarming over my newly planted amber waves. This is America, a graveyard of millions stretching from sea to shining sea. This truth that breaks my heart daily, that softens my sinew and makes brittle my spine is not news. At least it shouldn't be. But maybe it is. It certainly feels new to me. If it feels new to you, then maybe you're like me, and you too have just woke from your sweet American dream to find the America of nightmare reality that has always existed. This fear has always existed. We just missed it. Because yesterday, the target of their hate wasn't our child, our student, or our spouse. Hate and injustice are not news. These aren't imports. This is America. Hate here is a well-established industry, and injustice a storied and celebrated national pastime. So why haven't I felt this overwhelmed before? Why haven't you felt this fear before? What changed? Why care now? Why fear now? Because privilege, that ugly word that we think only applies to upper middle class Karens, is an insidiously subtle soporific. Was I on stage as the police knelt on another neck? No, I wasn't. Where was I? I'll tell you where I was. I was fucking asleep. Where was my voice when they were banning Muslims? Did I have a microphone in my hand when they were criminalizing mental illness? Where the fuck were my poems when they were holding an entire generation of young parents in prison for selling weed? Where the fuck was I as they turned the desperate victims of our foreign policy away from our borders? Where the fuck was I when my fellow Americans were being targeted, corralled, legislated against, and beaten down? I was at home. I was at work. I was asleep. I was tired from my busy day of not troubling myself with the problems that didn't concern me. Sure, I shook my head sadly as they weaponized marriage. As any good person would, I whispered bullshit as Anita Hill's harasser cast another deciding vote. I stood still in the crowd with the rest of you, looking at my shoes when there was too much blood on the screen, humming a little louder when the screams of "I can't breathe" became too much for me to hear. I wasn't alone. Where were all of you then? Were you there on the battle lines defending the defenseless? Or were you like me, on the couch, snuggled warm beneath your privilege and swearing off social media because it was too depressing? I wasn't there when the helpless needed my help, but I am here now. I'm not sitting down now, and I won't be ever again. I don't feel safe anymore because I am awake to the truth that the truth, and that truth is this is a fucking war. A struggle for all of us, not just those who are face down on the sidewalk today. This is a struggle for all time, not just those times when the swords of hatred are pointed at us. I thought that I could hide. I thought that I was safe beneath my blankets, but that was a lie. That was a dream. None of us are safe because they won't stop dividing and conquering. They won't stop trampling and strangling. They won't stop banning and planning until all of our humanity is stripped down, harvested for the backroom cigar smoked feasts. We cannot hide any longer. We, all of us, must stand up every day. And it doesn't fucking matter how tired our bodies or how fearful our souls become. We cannot stop. We can't stop standing up every day in every way because Indigenous lives matter, because trans lives matter, because Black lives matter, because Palestinian lives matter. We cannot stop because tomorrow will be your child, your student, your body whose rights are being stripped, your stories of abuse that are being denied. We cannot stop persisting, insisting, raised fist resisting. And if you weren't there before to fight alongside your siblings, if you were like me and you didn't understand then, well, now you do. Now you fucking do. The blanket is gone, the warmth is gone, the safety is gone, the sleep is over, and the illusions have vanished. You are woke now. That's what that fucking means. You are woke. Now you see, and now you have a duty, so get up. Your fellow humans are face down on the sidewalk, and they need you to put your hand in theirs to help them stand, to help their fear-decalcified bones overcome the daily oppression of gravity, help them stay strong, stand with them shoulder to shoulder, tell them that you are sorry that you weren't there then. Tell them that you were asleep, but you are here now, wide fucking awake, and you are not going to turn tail. You're not going to cover your ears or avert your eyes. You're not going to hide, not anymore, not ever again, because there can be no rest until all of us can take a breath, and there can be no retreat because none of us will be safe until all of us are free.